Hey, thanks for joining us for another G252 Live. Glad you're here. Join us each Sunday night, 5 o'clock, right here, as we talk about some different things. Listen, the next 4 weeks, we're going to talk about anxiety tonight, worry, fear, and messing up. And we're going to cover those things. And we'd love for you to check it out, get the discussion questions, talk with a friend or your parents, and go through this together. It'd be a good thing for you. I was thinking about, what do I have anxiety about? And it took me back to when I was 14 and I flew for the first time. And my family was moving from Virginia to Maui. And we had to catch a flight from Washington, D.C. to Newark, New Jersey. We flew that entire flight in the middle of a thunderstorm. Now, my parents are sitting 2 or 3 rows ahead of me. I'm sitting next to a man, a total stranger. And this flight, the jet is bouncing up and down and shaking and rumbling. The flight attendants were pushing the little cart, getting everybody their drinks, you know. They parked it, put the brakes on, put the coffee pots on the floor, and went and took their seats and strapped up. And they were looking at each other like, oh no, you know. So I panicked, and I looked at the guy next to me. I said, we're going to die. He's like, we're not going to die, man. I was like, we're going to die. So ever since then, I've had like a little bit of anxiety about flying. Matter of fact, my anxiety was so bad, I was at the airport one time getting ready to take a trip. They were working on the flight. The jet was having problems they were fixing. I'm about to fly across the Pacific. I looked at the ticket counter person and said, forget it, I ain't going nowhere. Give me my money back. And I got my money back and left because I wasn't about to do that. That's how bad my anxiety for flying was. I came to a point in life where I realized, you know what? It's safer to fly. You know, I went through all the facts. Safer to fly. It's quicker. Man, it is much quicker to get from A to B flying than driving or taking a boat. So I knew all the facts. And finally I said, you know what? There's one fact I haven't grasped yet and taken hold of, and that is this. God is in control, and I need to trust him. Listen, knowing God and giving him control gives us peace when we are worried and anxious. There's a verse I want to read to you. Philippians 4, 6 through 7 says, do not be anxious about anything. What is anything? Anything's anything. Don't be anxious about it. It says this, but in everything. What is everything? It's like anything. It's everything. But in everything, by prayer, going to God, supplication, asking God, with thanksgiving, hey God, I'm thankful for you and your control of my life. Let your requests be made known to God. And the peace of God. See, that's what we need when we're in an anxious spot, in an anxiety moment. We need the peace of God. The peace of God, which surpasses all understanding, will guard your hearts and your minds in Christ Jesus. See, anxiety happens in our hearts and our minds. And if we can let God just take control and trust in him, breathe deep, trust in God, let him take control. Because when you know God and you give him control, he will give you a peace when you're worried and anxious. I don't know what you're anxious about in life. You might want to list it down on paper this week and pray, God, I'm anxious about this COVID thing. I'm anxious about my school grades. I'm anxious about flying, and go to God and pray and give him those things in your life. Say, you're in control, God, and I'm just going to trust you. Listen, when I fly now, I say a little prayer when we take off. Dear God, we're about to take off. Keep me safe. And if possible, give us a smooth flight. That's what I ask God. And then I just sit back and enjoy the flight as best as possible. It's not my favorite, but I do it. But there's no longer this anxiety, this anxiety that would cripple me and keep me from flying, right? Because I now trust God with that. And I'm so glad I did it, because I love to fly I'm wearing the shirt, to Eleuthera and do mission trips. I love to fly and go visit friends. All right, so anxiety. Knowing God and giving him control gives us peace when we are worried and anxious. Hey, if you're watching this on Instagram, just click below. You'll see the slides. You can go through the pictures with all the discussion questions and the memory verses there as well. Parents, you've been emailed the small group guide you can do with your teen if you guys so choose to. I would encourage you to do that, or encourage you students to get with some friends and do this together. Why not take advantage of this opportunity? Have a great week. We will see you next Sunday evening, 5 p.m. right here.